for part 2 of this module, we're going to look at supports, loads, and cross-sections and how we can set them up so that Corumba can run its analysis. So far we've put in the elements and the geometry from Rhino. So first thing I'm going to do is support Corumba. Make sure you choose that one. And the support type, I'm going to type in point, position index. And the reason for this is there's a lot of points and I don't want to call them all out one by one. So we're going to turn on all the supporting conditions, right click point, set multiple points, and now if you get into a view where you can properly just select the points at the bottom, just do a rectangular select, and that should have selected all the points and space. So now the points are selected, supports are ready to go. And now we're going to do Corumba mesh load. And this is a little different from before, so I'm going to try to explain it to you. There's a surface on top that we're going to turn into a mesh. So first we're going to call out the surface, set multiple surface, so surface is set, and then mesh surface command, and this turns a surface into a mesh. And then we're going to give it a UV count of, say, 10. And this is important because the way Corumba reads this is a little weird, and so I'm not going to go into the details of it, but just set up 10. The more divisions you have in the mesh, the more actual the calculation is going to be, but it also takes longer. And then finally we're going to set up a unit vector, z, and we're going to give it a double slash -1. So it's a force of -1 kilonewtons per meter squared. And that's just the starting load. You can play around with that later on. So now the loads and the supports are set. Finally, we need to set the cross sections, and these are going to be based on standardized cross sections. So first, going to the cross section tab, you're going to do generate cross section table. And if I pull out a panel, remember this is basically a table. Sorry, read cross-section table, not generate. Delete that. If I pull out a panel and I pull in cross-sections, this is just a table labeling all of the cross-sections in here. And then I'm going to pull out the cross-section selector. The cross-section command is going to go into there. And now this is important. For it to know which cross-section is which, name or list index, element identifiers, and pull out another panel. We're going to call this an HEA 100. Which is a standard European I section, and you can read the factors when you look it up. And then I'm going to call this columns underscore large so that it knows that these are the large columns. And so I've got to copy and paste this 3 times because we have 4 different types of elements. This is going to be columns underscore small. This is going to be beams underscore large. This is going to be beams underscore small. So now it gives us the potential of matching the large columns to a certain cross-section versus the small columns, large beams, and the small beams. They can all have different cross-section properties, which is the whole point of giving them names in the first place. And that's it for the second part of the module.